Hey there guys, Demo73 here, bringing you the deck profile for the black, white, red, blue Gill Alhama'at control that you guys watched me play this week. Was created by my friend Josh, who's been on the channel before. Super fun version, very heavy spells, kind of designed to be able to kind of just push Prisia into the ground, but also really good for the mirror, with a lot of heavy discard stuff while still keeping up your card advantage. So obviously the ruler is Gill Alhama'at. We stay on this side for pretty much the entire game. We barely ever Judgement. You can Judgement for 0 if you have 7 or more mana counters on him. He has Energize for black or white. It starts with mana 1, and you can remove a mana counter from him to produce any color for Ancient Magics. That is crazy. And then he resonances for light or darkness magic stones to give himself mana counters. So every time you call a stone, you're probably getting like 2 will for it, which is awesome. And then he flips over into Ebon Dragon Emperor, 10/10. He's got a second Judgment effect that we'll go over in a second. Gets another mana counter when he comes into play. He's got flying. And then he resonances for 2 mana counters per stone, which is essentially just to help him ramp up to the final form. But pretty much only flip this when you have absolute game and you just need to push in a little bit of damage with flying. We don't run any kind of Levitans or anything else like that, so you're barely ever using this side. It's just kind of the game's on lock, you need damage, flip on Gill. And then he flips over. If you do manage to get 20 counters, you can remove 20 counters at every card you control from the game, or banish them all, and you can flip over into Gill Alhama'at, He Who Grasps All. 20/20 with Barrier, Swiftness, Precision, Flying, and First Strike. Every spell in your hand gains Ancient Magic, and you can cast Ancient Magics for free. Never going to see this card. You're usually only going to flip it if you have absolute control and you feel like stalling out the game like I did for a fun way to do lethal. But yeah, it's cool that we have a triple-sided card is all. Going into the stone lineup, we run 4 of his Ancient Magic Stone. The reason why this card is also amazing is 1, it resonances for him, and 2, it becomes a Ruler's Memoria if you use a mana counter from him, which is really nice for being able to produce those other colors you need. For things like Space-Time Anomaly or anything that's not an Ancient Magic, it's just really nice. Then we run 4 Magic Stone of Dark Depths. It's the primary color outside of black is the blue, so we really want that to be able to play things like Space-Time Anomaly, Rune of Sol, stuff like that. And then I play 2 Magic Stone of Ebon home just for the additional. You can also play Scorched Bales if you don't want to have the Shock Rocks in there, either one. I just play Ebon home so that I can get cards RFG'd and get a little bit of knowledge. It's not always relevant. And then 1 of Magic Stone of Vaporization and 1 of Sorrowful Necromancy's Memoria. We play this so that if we're playing any kind of mirror, we can just kind of ramp up more counters than them. If the game goes long, we can just float our end step will and convert it into mana counters, which is nice. And then for this one, it's just to RFG important cards from the grave. Get rid of things like Horn in the mirror match and stuff like that. Now, we only play 2 Resonators in the whole deck, 2 Blazers. Primarily reason why we do this is because we're pretty much just burning for lethal every time, but also we want some creatures that we can kind of flash back. Blazer being able to come back from the grave infinite times is really, really nice. He's 10/10 with Swiftness and Flying, serves as a great repeatable blocker, and then you can like play him, like flash him in during your opponent's end phase, swing on your turn, and then you don't have to RFG a card, so he can just come back to the grave. So then he comes back as a blocker when you need him. Great card. Then we go into spells, and this is in no particular order, just lots and lots of spells. World Flame Summoning, just to be able to do board wipes, as well as some burn damage, and help deal with J-Rulers. Lumia's Judgement for, again, board wiping and dealing with Regalia. 2 Barrier of Shadows, just to be able to stop other decks that run a lot of Regalia, as well as you can jam this early against a Prisia, or any kind of J-Ruler aggro deck, or Valentina. 2 Unending Hatred for discard and knowledge, which is always good because you see their hand, plus small board wipes. 2 Black Moonbeam, I think you should be playing 2 because Viola is a deck, and any deck that I think outside of Prisia that is going to be using their J-Ruler is probably going to be playing Viola in some form, so it's really nice to have 2. 1 Alhama'at Black Lightning because it's of its buyback and the fact that it can't be countered, so you can just kill pretty much anything you want. 4 Viola's Machinations, because it's essentially free discard, because it cycles into turning into a mana counter, which is sick. 3 Ancient Heartfelt Fire to help you ramp up, and it can be used as early game removal for things like Guinevere's and stuff like that, which is really nice. 3 Lapis Darkstorm, again, a lot of heavy discard in this deck, mainly primarily for the mirror. You're just trying to get their cards out of their hand and make it so they can't cast Ancient Knowledges, and then they just run out of steam and you don't. 3 Rune of Sol to be able to search for your Black Moonbeams, your World Flame Summoning, pretty much whatever you need. This card is fantastic for that. 3 Soulhunt, being able to hit 2-for-1s, especially if you're casting, putting like Death Scythe in the grave or putting Chocolate's Water Transformation Magic is always good. And you're not playing creatures that much, so it doesn't really matter. 4 Ancient Knowledge for more spell consistency and being able to refill your hand. Only 2 Space-Time Anomaly for spot removal. We don't really use it a lot because we're mainly using Soul Hunts and just keeping things off the board in general. But Space-Time Anomaly is also great for draw power. 2 Schrodinger's Observation is the primary win con of the deck. With 12 stones, we can do lethal if we, tap out against a Resonator, so that's pretty nice. 2 Charlotte's Water Transformation Magics, just to be able to slow things down or make them killable within range with the space-time. And then 2 Nameless Mists to be able to peek at our opponent's hand and rip more cards out of their hand, which is always nice. Actually, sorry. No, these are in the side deck. These are not in the main deck. My bad. We actually played 2 Death Scythes and then a Horn of the Sacred Beast just to be able to recycle our deck if we need to. Deal with Jade Rulers, take their swiftness away, all that kind of jazz. So that is actually the deck. Again, huge thanks to Josh for hooking me up with the list. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to check this out. Alhama'at is a ton of fun. Very complex ruler to play, but I definitely think that he is very underappreciated right now and has a lot of strength that people aren't tapping into. So until next time, guys, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. And in the next video, I'll see you guys there. So this is DMO73 signing off.